Hello and welcome to episode 2 of Outspoken by Femme Health. Are we real podcasters now? I can't believe.
Oh my God.
No, I think we are.
Saw us on Spotify and it's real.
This is real. We have our first guest today as well, which is really exciting. We have the incredible Anna Hobson. She is one of our expert panels. Anna, I'm going to hand it over to you because I could sell you, but I think you're better selling yourself. So please tell us all about the Sonder Coach.
Oh, thank you very much. So first of all, it is a privilege to have been invited to come along to your podcast today. So thank you, Team Femme. And my name is Anna. Yes, you're right. I have a business called the Sonder Coach. I'm a qualified coach and counsellor in the making, so bear with me with that one. And I'm really, really fortunate enough to support others, particularly women, to be at their best by understanding, accepting and celebrating their story. So I feel very, very lucky to be part of the Femme panel of experts and very lucky to be involved in today.
Well, we are very lucky to have you. It has been an exciting few weeks. We are officially a month old today. Which is incredible. First month under the belt. So when we're getting some great press, and I think, there's no better way to kick off podcast 2 with you, Anna, because we have just made it through January, guys. Oh my gosh, that was a slog. Brighter days are coming, and actually I find it hard. So it is a great time to go straight into some of the stuff that you do and definitely talk about in the Sabotage, because January, I think, is so full of pressure. We set these goals for the year that seem overwhelming. Financially, it can be overwhelming. The weather's dreary. I think it can just be a tough month for everyone. How have you found it?
Completely hear what you're saying. So I think one of the things that I notice about myself and with some of the clients that I work with is the essence of the amount of power that comes with peace. And I don't know about you, but January is such a whirlwind and there are so many expectations, even stemming from the historical, what's your New Year's resolution? All of that.
Dry
You're still
January.
recovering from dry January. You're recovering from all the pressures at Christmas, if you celebrate Christmas. So I do think that the balance of peace as a human is knocked quite a lot in January, and the power in having your own peace is possibly off kilter a little bit.
Yeah. This is why I am so glad we're into February. I think it's such a cute month. It's short. It's the month of love, whether you like Valentine's Day or not. I mean, I love watching Pretty Woman with like a chocolate cake and being all cute and cozy. So I'm here for Valentine's Day. But yeah, I really did struggle with January. I am a goal setter. And obviously launching Femme Health, we had some ambitious goals for month 1. And I just felt drained. I felt drained with the weather. I felt drained with the pressure. Yeah. And I just feel like as women, do we need more pressure in an already tough month?
This is why I went for damp January this year. There was no way I was doing dry January this year. Cannot go for drinking every day in December to drinking no days in January. It's like it's not for me. So I just did less. I really tried to protect myself. I just said, I can't commit to that. I'm just going to do less. I'm going to do a bit of everything, a bit more of exercise, a little bit more eating well, a little bit less drinking. I just felt like less pressure.
Yeah. I think building on your point, Laura, it is so important to remind ourselves that extreme things, extreme changes don't work, right? No. They're not sustainable. And so if we're able to hold things in moderation, look after ourselves, that is where you're going to get the most balance. And, there's a brilliant thought leader who talks about the creation of habits called James Clear. And one of the things, Atomic Habits, brilliant book.
Right now.
Yeah, it's amazing, honestly amazing. And you will know this obviously if you're reading the book, but he talks about the importance of setting identity-focused goals, not outcome-focused. So if you're talking about setting a goal around, I want to be able to run half a marathon, you're less likely to connect with that, because actually what you're trying to do is become healthier, become fitter, become more active, move your body more. And if that's your goal, you're more likely to succeed with it. So I hear what you're saying, Laura. Having a damp January instead of a dry January isn't a bad thing, because it just allows you
to
keep
I
it
feel
in
like
moderation.
now, instead of being like, oh my God, it's February, I'm going to drink everything. Now I'm just kind of like, I'm going to keep steady, because it's made me feel better, and felt like I've had control over it rather than the other way around. So I think that's why I've really enjoyed it. But I'm kind of interested to know how this sort of links and your sort of take on personal sabotage, because I've known you a long time, and I know we both kind of talked a lot about sabotage in our lives.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, it leads on quite well, actually, from managing your own expectations and setting expectations for yourself, which are too extreme. So I am a perfectionist. So I have a very loud, be perfect driver. And anything that isn't quite perfect, and when I say perfect, I use that phrase as what's perfect to me. It doesn't mean that it is actually perfect, if that makes sense.
Yeah, your standard.
So anything that isn't quite so perfect in my eyes, I beat myself up about. I fail to allow myself to enjoy the moment or the situation or the experience, because I focus terrible amounts of energy, like treacherous energy spent, micro-analysing what wasn't right, and it sabotages things for me. So that could be on a Monday morning, starting a new diet. I'm going to eat healthily, and by 10:30, I've had a rich tea biscuit with my brew, right? So that for me is like, oh my God, you're off the wagon. You're terrible. You're not able to fulfill what you wanted to set off with on this little diet that you've set up for yourself. It could also be something way more important, like being proposed to, which has happened to me recently.
Yes, huge congratulations.
Thank you. And I'm so, oh my gosh, so overwhelmed about it. But I ended up sabotaging some of that moment, and I've spoken to my partner about it, my fiance about it. And I feel really sad, because
you had an idea of how you should be proposed to, and it wasn't quite that. So you have to, is it like to do with control then?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So I was panicking that people were watching me, or that there was somebody possibly taking pictures in the background. And I felt in that moment when that happened that I almost had to act. And I didn't act. I managed to shut it down. But I almost thought, am I meant to be smiling here? Am I meant to be cuddling Josh here? Am I meant to be looking all shocked? Do you know what I mean? And it sabotaged it for myself.
Do you think some of that comes from the fact that everything is so visual in our lives now? Like, everyone posts everything, and everyone does these like amazing, like, here's what happened to me. And you know that a lot of it is staged, and a lot of it's not actually reality of what's happened. Do you think that makes us more aware of, oh, we've got to be a certain way, you can't just be yourself?
Absolutely, nail on the head. So, and I know that we'll talk a little bit more about comparisons, but now's quite a good time to reference that. So we are surrounded, absolutely saturated by social comparisons.
Oh yeah.
Visually, on social media sites, you cannot escape it. In magazines, on the television, in life in general, with our colleagues, with our friends. And so specifically on certain social platforms where there are the staged posts and there are the perfect pictures, it does add such a level of pressure, and also sets completely unrealistic, and here's the big thing for me, not only unrealistic, but completely inauthentic or unauthentic vibes And that's not okay. It's not healthy.
It's one snapshot. In reality, it's one snapshot of someone's life.
But have you ever, and I bet you're all going to say yes, been out with some friends or been somewhere and seen how it really happened, and then they put the photo on that evening, you're like, this was a terrible day. This was a really difficult day. And that one snap that they put.
I saw a post the other day, and it was literally like all these different squares, and they were all yellow, and then there's this one blue square. And he said, that blue square is a photo you've seen. And that is like one little moment in all these other moments that happened in the day. And you just think that's their whole life. Mm-hmm. And I remember because I had children a long time before any of like my friends did. And I just remember being like that. It was so bad. It made me ill because I was like, I'm not doing anything fun anymore. I'm missing out. And you get so wrapped up in like, everyone's having a better life than me, that it's really dangerous. And you have to learn how to be like, no.
Yeah.
It's not like that. You have to challenge yourself.
So is this then, Anna, just coming back to the Sonder coach and your sort of day-to-day work, is this what you take in your personal, things that you've been going through with lack of control and self-sabotage? Is this the reason why you set up the Sonder coach and now you help women?
That is a really, really good question. And actually, helpful insight for me, because I don't think I've ever thought about how my own personal experiences may build other people's confidence. So it's interesting. Sonder Coach is very much about supporting other people to be at their best, 100%. And I'm very lucky that I get to work with a range of different people across the UK with some of this stuff. The reason that I do what I do is because the inner game, so our brains, our computers can sometimes derail us. Mm. And although, yes, I've got my perfectionism issues, I've also been very lucky to recover from a horrible eating disorder that I was treated for. I believe I have OCD, but I wouldn't, I've not been clinically diagnosed with that.
I would agree with that, Anna.
I do. And I also have anxiety. But all of that, box that off into a suitcase of my own, because that's my own stuff to deal with. The biggest thing that I have noticed in patterns in my life is my inner game derailing me. And so the Sonder coach is all about supporting other people to coach their inner game and to work through what noise is going on, what voices in your heads are telling you, what's your inner dialogue telling you, and working through understanding why it's telling you that, where that's coming from, what you can do within your control and influence to turn the volume down on it. Because we all know, I'm pretty sure you'll agree, that when we allow that little voice in our head to tell us, oh no, you who the hell do you think you are to run a podcast? You can't do that.
Yeah.
Who the hell do you think you are to launch a business that classes itself as the Sephora of fertility? Of course you can't do that. Well, actually, if you allowed that voice, and I'm sure that you will have had that imposter syndrome voice at certain times.
Every day. All the time we talk about this, don't we?
Yeah, right. Every day. And I think that's why I was so excited to have you on as our first guest, because, we are a fertility and conception department store, but we're all women with an inner voice. Yeah. And whether we're on a fertility journey, we've launched a business, like you've said, we are trying to teach children that we may have, we're trying to be a good friend. You always can walk away from situations. I should have said this. Why did I say that? How many times I've walked away and gone, oh, why did I say that? Have I upset them?
I didn't realise until my anxiety was bad a few years ago, the inner voice isn't actually real. I was reading all this stuff about your inner voice, and it was saying your inner voice is just a construct of all the bad things that have been said to you, or the positive things that have been said to you. And it'll go one way or the other, and you just literally can ignore it. Yeah. And I was like, I have lived by my inner voice for the whole of my life. And then suddenly I was like, oh, and that seems so ridiculous.
So what's the difference, if I just pull your professional opinion, on inner sabotage voice and gut feeling, because my feeling can come across so strong sometimes that I'm like, I've got to follow my gut. How do you, I'm putting you on the spot here, Anna, but how would you say you manage to split them?
So, sabotage from your inner game, which stems from your inner voice, so the story, the dialogue, the narrative that you're telling yourself, that is typically, and this gets a little bit scientific, ladies, okay, so bear with me. This typically is coming from our primitive brain, okay? So in evolution, we have our freeze, fight or flight modes, and I'm pretty sure a lot of us will have already be familiar with that. But in essence, that those modes are there to keep us alive and to keep us safe. As we've developed, we are the only mammals in the world with the most developed brain, which allows us to create pathways to experience emotions and make very intricate observations on people's body language and facial expressions, and recognizing that to a nuance that no other mammals can do. So we know that we've got exceptionally well-developed brains, but with that, we also know that we can trip ourselves up because our computer in our brain is so phenomenal that it can tell us things or trick us into believing that we have limiting beliefs. So if we go back to the podcast where you were setting that up for the first time, and you might have thought, oh my God, you've not got experience of this. Who's going to listen to you? Why would anybody listen to you? What you've got to offer?
Please listen to me.
I suspect that might have come out, right? But that is probably your freeze, fight or flight mode, pausing you and being like, whoa, this is unknown. You don't know what you're doing.
Yeah, you're making yourself vulnerable here.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. There's a risk here. So I'm going to make you very aware of it. Now, you can either invite it, have a seat at the table and work through why it's there, and then turn the volume down on it, okay? Your intuition, so I prefer to use the phrase as intuition, is different. So that is your body. Your body knows the score. So if something feels right in your body, then you must go with it.
Yeah. I tend to think it's like an action or instinct. It's like I need to do something, or this needs to happen. Whereas I feel like my inner voice is always the negative, always
then
like,
it goes.
You can't do this, you can't do that, you're not good enough for that. So I think that's how I would sort of recognize them. It's more, and you're right, I feel gut in my stomach.
Yeah.
Like a no in my stomach.
But then anxiety, when you have the butterflies.
Yeah.
Is that then, where does that lie then? I mean, we're all getting very technical here now.
It's in my chest sometimes.
So one thing I would say is there is a difference between instinct and intuition. Learn to know the difference. Your intuition is around your body holding the score, being able to inform you if something feels good. So your instinct is there to be like, well, my instinct's telling me that this is a silly thing to do. It doesn't feel good. There's a risk here. Why is that? You can work through that. But your intuition is about your core belief, tuning into what your body's telling you.
It's intuition, just experience in a way. Like you have been through something similar and you know there's something off here because it's something that you've already done, and you know that your body and your mind sort of knows this isn't right based on, and at that in sort of business way, that's just how you built your career and what you've learned along the way. It makes you able to make decisions in that split instinct because you've just got the experience to do it.
So I would say that experience that we have leads us to tell us what's safe, what's not safe, and it does build your repertoire and your intuition. Absolutely. But if I take, for example, a personal experience of when I was getting divorced, for months, I was like a pendulum. I did not know for sure that I was doing the right thing. And that pendulum was swinging so ferociously because I wasn't able to sit with who I am, sit down, take time to really connect with what my intuition in my body was telling me. And that was, sadly, you're right, you need to get divorced.
Is that because it was painful for you to do? And considering your perfectionism, you knew that by doing this, you were undoing some of that perfectionism in the eyes of everyone else, maybe?
Good point. Do you know what? Some of that absolutely existed, but the other side of it was, you're 33. If you get divorced, you still won't have children. Yeah. You're going to put that back by many years.
Clock.
You won't have, and this is difficult for me to say, but you won't have the big house. You won't have the fancy holidays. You won't have the things that I placed importance on and thought mattered to me. None of which matter, right?
It's so funny how as you get older, you're just like, doesn't matter anymore. You need to be happy. How have you so we've talked about the kids thing, haven't we, a lot and things. How do you, because you obviously don't have children, how do you kind of make peace with yourself and with that? Like, how have you been able to cope with that?
So social comparisons, again, are really difficult for me. And at the age of 38 and a half,
that makes me mad, Anna, because I'm 39 now and you know it.
At the age of 38 and a half, the pressure's on big time. And, you know, I've spoken already that I've recently got engaged and I'm so excited about that. And I feel very lucky to have found the person for me, like genuinely, he is the person for me. The thought that I may or may not have children frightens me, actually. So even though I work through that and I try my hardest not to compare myself to other people and tick a box in where I should be right now in life, I genuinely don't know if it will happen and whether I want children. And am I allowed to say that?
I appreciate that so much. Nobody says it, Anna. No. Like, I've said to my husband today so many times, like, I feel like I can never say this, but I know I could have been happy either way. Maybe that's easy to say because I've got children, but I think it's just more about fulfillment. Like, I know I would have found fulfillment in things. And I find it hard to say that because everyone's like, well, do you not love your kids? And I'm like, well, yeah, of course I love them. Yeah. But I'm just saying there's more than one way you can be happy. And I think we're not allowed to say things like that.
I think you also don't know what it's like until you have done it. And because everybody does it, or, you know, the majority make out like that's what women should do.
And that it's brilliant all the time, which it isn't.
Yes.
It really isn't.
So how do you feel now about it? Have you found some peace on your journey to, or maybe not to, motherhood? Or
yeah, absolutely. So when I talk about there's power in peace, right? And when I'm really tuning into what matters to me now, so when I'm present with my life right now, the only thing that matters to me, other than obviously my friends and family, is the fact that my partner and me have a beautiful relationship.
Yeah.
Because actually, rewind 18 months ago, I didn't have a relationship. I had a failed series of dates that had gone wrong. My confidence was on the floor. And so if somebody had said to me 18 months ago, you will be in the most loving, healthy, mutually respectful and accountable relationship, and that is what you will have, you won't necessarily have children, I would have snatched their hands off. Do you know what I mean?
But again, that's the always wanting more, isn't there? I saw a post the other day that says, stop and think. You've probably wished for the life you're living right now. And that's for the first time in, I can remember that at least the last 10 years, I did not set proper goals this January. I just refused to do them. The ones I set were more like read more books, be more present, put my phone away.
Yeah.
It wasn't like grind, because you forget, and then you just like, I've got all of this, you know?
Yeah.
And do you know what, Anna? It makes me so happy. Like, I know you've known Laura outside of Fem Health, but it's so happy to see you happy. And we are so excited to have you working with Fem. And I think it has been a great way to kick off the year. You know, we've made it through January. Just before we finish off, just, you know, for people listening, what are a couple of coping strategies and mechanisms that people could just quickly and slowly put into place daily to help with that inner voice?
So, first of all, I would say warm it up. Notice the tone that you are speaking to yourself in. And I actually think if we spoke out loud how we were speaking to ourselves in our heads, we'd probably be pretty ashamed.
Yeah.
And I don't want to make you feel ashamed about the way you speak to yourself, because that can feel really uncomfortable and quite sad. But show up for yourself. And, you know, it is the month of love.
Yes.
Valentine's Day, the only person I need for Valentine's Day to love me more is me.
Yeah.
So maybe you could make that commitment. And the one thing that I would want people to really think about is you are a human. You're a human being. You are very fragile. Hold on to who you are, how amazing your body is, the machine that it is, that walks, that runs, that drops the kids off at school, that thinks, that's able to construct emails at work, that goes and does the weekly shop. You know, all the things that your body does, notice it. And just, you know, even if it's a bit of reflective practice, putting your hand on your heart, taking some really lovely deep breaths and holding them and just reconnecting with your being can be a great way of just breaking the cycle of beating yourself up about what you've not done, or where you should be, or who you should be, or how you should be, and what you should be doing.
Yeah. And just forgive yourself a little bit. Like, we always do struggle in our house of just sitting around, like we don't see it as productive. Could be doing this, could be doing that. And it's like, no, we're just going to do this today.
Yeah. Chilling out. It's okay.
So to rest, chilling out, and kinder to ourselves for the rest of 24.
Absolutely. Well, here's to that.
Yeah.
We'll check in next month and see how we've fared.
Yeah, and the month of love. So let's be a little bit kinder to ourselves as women. Oh, well, thank you so much for joining us today, Anna. And, you know, we'll be seeing lots more of you across the Fem website and our socials as we carry on into launching Fem into 24. So take care, and we'll see you soon.
Bye, Anna. I love you.
Thank you for having me.